If you're watching this video this morning, that means you're probably getting ready to go on a phone interview, and I want to spend some time working with you for over the next few minutes on how to keep from being eliminated in the phone interview. You know, one of the things that's really important to know about the phone interview is, why are you having the phone interview? You know, if you know what goes on behind the scenes in the hiring process, you'll know that hiring managers have posted jobs, and they've ran jobs in the classified section of the newspaper, and they've gotten in lots of resumes, and they've gone through the process of looking at those resumes, and guess what? Your resume got to the keeper pile. So you've already made a huge step in making your way through the interviewing process and having to jump through all the hoops it takes to get a job offer. And the phone interview is the very first big step. And so it's really important to go into this interview knowing what is it that we're trying to accomplish with this interview. You're not trying to get a job, you are trying to get a face-to-face interview. That is the mission, that's the goal of this interview, is to get a face-to-face interview. And so I'm going to walk you through some things that will help keep you from being eliminated in the phone interview so that you'll get the face-to-face interview. And the first thing I want to mention is technology. You know, one of the things that happens in a phone interview is, if you're trying to do your phone interview over a cell phone. I know we've all experienced it. Driving down the highway, you drive out of a cell, you drop the call, you have to call the person back. You really don't want technology to mess up your one opportunity to get a face-to-face interview. So I'm going to suggest that you have your interview on a landline to just eliminate any technology problems at all. The other thing that I've noticed in phone interviews is people talk too much. You want to do a lot of listening and hearing the questions that are being asked, and you want to stay on topic and don't run down those rabbit trails that happen. One of the things that will really help you in this area is if you'll take the list of questions that we have sent along with this video, and you will role play and practice and rehearse and learn how to answer those questions in your own words, that will eliminate you from having to have your mind racing and trying to think of what is the next question going to be. You can just stay on topic because you feel confident that you'll know the answer to the next question that comes along. Another thing that happens in a phone interview, it's kind of a unique situation. You know, when you're face-to-face with somebody, you have that eye contact, you kind of feed off of their energy, and yet in a phone interview, that none of that's there. You're just looking at a blank wall in your home or in your office or wherever this interview is taking place. And so you really need to think about, how can I get some energy into my voice so it'll come across the phone that I'm not just a real laid-back, easy-going person. I'm a make-it-happen person. And here are a couple of ideas that will help you in that. One is, if possible, wear a headset. There's something about wearing a headset where your hands free. You know, one of the neat things about a phone interview, you can actually have your resume sitting in front of you and some other information that you might want to refer to that maybe you wouldn't have that opportunity in a face-to-face interview, but they can't see what you have on the desk in front of you. So your hands free with a headset. The other thing that really helps energy to get in your voice is to stand up. It's okay to stand up and maybe even pace back and forth a little bit to get some energy in your voice as you respond to these questions that they're asking. Another thing that's really important, you know, when I was back in the day working sales, our trainer told us when we were making phone calls to actually have a mirror on our desk, and so we could see our facial expression when we were talking. And the big suggestion from our trainer was to always smile. You know, there's something magical about a smile. It just goes right through that phone line and comes out on the other side. If you want energy, if you want personality, stand up, smile, and do those kinds of things to really enhance your phone interview. Kind of towards the end of an interview, it's not unusual for the interviewer to ask you, do you have any questions? And the worst thing you could possibly do is say, no, you've done such a great job of telling me about the company. I don't have a question for you. The best thing that you can do is have some prepared questions for them. And we've actually, in our list of interview questions, we've actually also prepared you a list of questions you can ask the company. Now, there's several of them there. I'm suggesting that you don't ask all of those. That'd be way too many questions. But pick you out one or two that you really like. Questions like this. Yes, I do have a question about this opportunity. How will this position be measured? What are the important criteria that you're going to be looking at and expecting for the person that fills this position? Those would be the kinds of questions that would really help you to have a great response to that question that comes right at the end of the interview. Do you have any questions? And then the most important step out of everything that I've mentioned so far is this. Remember, the mission of the phone interview is to get you a face-to-face interview. So it's really important that you would ask for a next step. And, in an earlier video, I referred to interviewing being something like courtship. And guess what? It'd be way too early in the process to ask somebody if you're ready to get married on the first date. So you can't say, can I have the job? But it is very appropriate to say, what is the next step? If when you finish the phone interview, if you have a next phone meeting, if you have a face-to-face meeting, preferably if you have a face-to-face interview set up, you had a great phone interview and you did a great job on your phone interview.